Hello, welcome to our channel as we check our video to make sure the FBI is not blocking it again. For those of you who don't know, the FBI has been demanding nuclear war for a long time, and Martin Armstrong finally said, we're headed that way. But he says a lot of things that Socrates say, and things change. You see, the problem with looking at the future is if you're not God, you only see where we're headed. But we could take the futures like this. Right now, Martin Armstrong is saying the most likely future is nuclear war. Another timeline is that Trump is gone as of the 10th of August. Open attempt on him. But if he doesn't die and we don't head down that road, we're headed down this road. And that's the problem. Their Operation Looking Glass, their time machines, all look at the future based on events of today. But if you turn over a grain of sand on the opposite side of the world, you change world history. So today we're talking about Trump taking action against the Shady bunch. My guess is they'll put doubles in their place, and the doubles may be prosecuted and go to jail. And while you're looking at the white flag over here, look, I'm taking care of the deep state. Something over here is happening. So we're not going to monetize. We've decided not to monetize. I tried to listen to the book of John yesterday, the NIV, and they monetized themselves, and there were 6, 7, 8 commercials in the first 15 minutes. They've bowed to money, the NIV Association. But I've spoken with them before, the NIV Bible Association, and they're after money. And after watching Wyatt Earp, season 4, some episode, with all those commercials, they've destroyed YouTube with monetization. So anyway, there will be no ads on here. We will, however, discuss the future. When I was a child, I've said this again, but you have to hear it 6 times, to understand it. When I was a child, the average Social Security recipient could buy 810 of these every month. Now this is Famous Dave's. I love it, but it uses GMO flour. When I was a child, the bread contained gluten. Today it contains gliadin to make you fat. So when I was a child, you could buy 810 loaves of bread. Now you can buy 170 loaves of bread. 170 as opposed to 810. We have had a slow squeeze, the destruction of the American economy. And bread is just one indication. This, by the way, is how to start the program off with a bang, my N71 electrical firing device, which I am allowed to have as long as I'm an engineer in the U.S. Army. And I don't think the Satanist, Hagsith, will ever retire the 40,000 Garda reservists. I don't think he has the will to do it. He worships Lucifer. He wants one thing and one thing only: war. And this is Shrinkflation. We ordered Tenactin. We got a 5.3 ounce can. We ordered Tenactin again, a 4.6 ounce can. Notice how the lids were changed to make it look the same. But it done shrunk by over, well, whatever 5.3 to 4.6 is. That's 0.7. That's 15% shrinkage in content. So they shrunk it to save 2 cents. Shrinkflation, of course there's no inflation. Home prices are coming down because nobody can afford it and people have to move. Other than that, everything else is still going up. And we ordered from Amazon flea spray. And what did we get? Carpet spray. Amazon, which was started by the government and funded to the tune of billions, at least $100 billion a year of your taxpayer money, decided, since they're funded by the government, same size, that they would substitute anything they want. Well, I talked with a medical supply company, and they order things from Amazon. They order, Vaseline-coated bandages for your leg, and they get Scotch tape in the mail, a form of medical Scotch tape. Amazon is now substituting things. This isn't the only thing. We ordered 3 things, and they substituted something different in all 3 cases. Amazon doesn't give a rat's rip, nor do the computers. And the AI is substituting things. Well, flea spray is not the same as carpet spray. So if you're ordering from Amazon and have the same problem, welcome to the crowd. By the way, this is brought to you by Noble Gold. In this slow squeeze, when I was a child, 1 ounce of gold bought almost 400 loaves of bread. 350 loaves of bread when I was a child. 1 ounce of gold, 350 loaves of bread. Now it buys 400 loaves of bread. Gold has kept up with inflation. But I had to show this to you because unless you see it for yourself, it's really hard to imagine. But I can buy more bread now with that ounce of gold than I could in 1957, 58, 59, and 60. Now I remember in 62 and 63 and 64, 60 also, we had loaves of bread on sale for 10 for $1. But I can buy more loaves of bread now with that same ounce of gold. That's why I invest in gold. The FBI can't seize it. In the financial crisis that's coming, you're going to need gold and silver, primarily silver, to purchase things. There's 3 states now that have passed the Gold and Silver Act. Utah, Texas, and Wyoming. I don't know. There's another state where you can legally use silver for currency. And Simply Clean Foods accepts it for currency. So do a lot of companies now. They'll take silver because they know what's coming. Anyway, on to the news. Trump's Department of Justice is again increasing the number of firings. Peter the Great visited Sweden, capital of Sweden, after the long 7-8 year war. And he was talking to the king of Sweden, and he said, I have 2 lawyers in Russia, and I'm going home to kill one. The Russian Empire grew when it didn't have lawyers. The American Empire grew when it didn't have lawyers. We had lawyers, but they weren't allowed in the government. Then Lincoln was elected as a lawyer, which violated the Constitution and pushed the South over the edge to a major civil war. If Trump would outlaw the British authorized registry here in America, he doesn't have the guts. And his presidency is going to start falling apart because he's not doing what God asked him to do. So you're going to see a lot of white flags over here while everything's falling apart over here. So says the I am that I am, who was and is to come. The phone's always open, President Trump. But I don't see him having the guts to call me. I think he's another lily-livered politician, but that's just my opinion. He's doing great things for the country, but he can't reverse what's happening. He's doing his best, but until he does what God asks him to do, he won't be able to do enough. And that's all there is to it. He's probably the best president we've ever had in my lifetime, but he just can't do enough without God. And right now, the Department of Justice is firing more attorneys. They're not putting them in jail. They're not executing them for treason. They're not putting them in the bottom of the Atlantic. I know. What's 1,000 lawyers at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean? A good start. Anyway, 1 August, the tariffs kick in. It's now the 21st, so that gives them 30 days, half September, April, June, and November. We have 31 days. That gives them 11 days to get their act together. And Spain is not going to cooperate, so the European Union can't get the tariff adjustments they want. Now, China's cooperating. India's more than cooperating. They're bending over backwards because if they have 100% tariff, we're going to have 100% tariff. India says, okay, we've been raping you ever since Reagan left office. And now we're not going to rape the United States anymore. So 1 August, the Philippines kicked in, and Marcos, still a Marcos in power. Isn't that amazing? CIA puts Marcos in power. Marcos is the president of the Philippines, which is a U.S. territory. It's still owned by the United States Corporation, no matter what you say or do. We've got the 1910 congressional record proving that. The Philippines is coming to the United States of America to negotiate tariffs. And the Department of Homeland Security, the only department the president controls, he controls the budget and the hiring and firing of the executives. The United States Code 5, Section 101 through 105, President Trump controls the Department of Homeland Security, and they're hiring 85,000 foreign employees for high-tech jobs in America. They're not going to Americans. Why? Our educational system sucks. Like Chad Oliver said, we've given our people this and we've made them stupid. We've got poisonous food and poisonous water. We got fluoride in our water. Still, Kennedy has not eliminated the fluoride in the water. Oh, he's done some great things. They're going to take 6 different red food dyes out of the food. Ooh, all food dyes cause cancer, according to the EPA. But they're going to remove 6 of the 1,000 of them. So, other than that, I think he's getting ready to do some things. Why they're not arresting the people in the fluoride industry is beyond my wildest imagination. But they're bringing in 85,000 foreigners for high-tech American jobs. We're going to build the AI, and we're blah, 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 blah. We're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to boost American employment. And instead, they're bringing in foreign employees. Now, Trump has direct control of the Department of Homeland Security, so he can order them to arrest the lawyers. He can order them to arrest the governors opposing his immigration policy, but he has not. He's no arrest Trump. And the 55th and 60th Air Wing are still spraying us. In this latest rainstorm, we didn't get any rain because of the things that they're putting in the sky that you can see. Still flooding America, killing Americans. Dryzen Air with NASA, their contracts, they're still killing Americans. Trump hasn't ordered the 55th U.S. Air Force Air Wing or the 60th U.S. Air Force Air Wing to stand down yet. And Hegseth, the one who worships Lucifer, can't retire 40,000 National Guard or Army reservists, and he's dang sure not going to order his U.S. Air Force to stand down from spraying us because he worships Lucifer. And Lucifer just had a broadcast a few days ago where they said they're going to kill off all of humanity by the end of 2025. They're going to separate our bodies from our soul to free us, so that we can be free from the desires of planet Earth. Isn't that mighty nice of the United Nations director to give them money to give that broadcast out? Now, more on that tomorrow. But we got to slip that in, because if we don't slip it in, YouTube will ban us, because obviously YouTube is run by the U.S. government, and the U.S. government, being the CIA, wants this hidden. So we got to slip it in towards the end of the video. And finally, after 10 years, Army military intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, a lieutenant colonel in military intelligence, it took them 10 years to figure out that Barack Obama and James Comey, whose daddy ran the SS Sieg Heil and killed 6 million people, initiated the Russiagate to cover up the conflict between the Ukraine and Russia, and to boost our arms industries. Now, which Obama? I don't know, Obama 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take your choice. I had a friend walking by the White House limousine, and there were 3 Obamas smoking and joking in the limousine. Per protocol, the driver, the security, and in the back seat you have security, and the president. I know, when I was transported around in Russia, they had the driver, security, and I had to sit in the middle. Well, the problem is they only had Ladas, and Ladas have a bump there, so I had very uncomfortable rides in Russia. But that's okay. I was there to pull 346 firecrackers out of Iran and stop them from starting WW2, 3, 4, who knows? So now, Tulsi Gabbard, after 10 years of being in military intelligence, an oxymoron, she finally figured it out, and she calls them the Shady Bunch. James Comey, head of the FBI. John Brennan, head of the CIA. Barack Obama, the leader of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, take your choice. Valerie Jarrett, Samantha Powers, Susan Rice, James Clapper. They're all guilty of perpetrating this Russia hoax. Now, why didn't Trump arrest those who committed election fraud in 2017 when he was elected president? Good question. There was video after video after video, thousands of them all over the internet, that were pulled down by the FBI on YouTube that showed election fraud. So why didn't Trump go after the election fraud people? Because it wasn't time. He needs a distraction over here while this is going on. The great psyops, the great distraction. Now, President Trump did authorize, whether it's Trump 1, 2, or 3, I don't know, because Trump's 6'2", And when he stands there and J.D. Vance, which is 5'10", is taller than Trump, it's a double. If you're president, of course you're going to have doubles. The problem with Barack Obama is number 1 died, number 2 died, and we got number 3, who was like this. So they yanked him. And then we had number 4, and then we had the one with a big scar across the back, and then we had the Barack Obama with the English accent. How I say there, old chap, he's my favorite. And you could see it in Life magazine, and I announced it on YouTube, and the next day all Life magazines were pulled off the market because they had different Barack Obamas in the Life magazine. You see, got to cover that up. And as for Biden, he never took office. He died before he got in office. So and this financial crisis caused by deferred spending, today, the big, beautiful bill, the 666 bill, which does tremendous things for our tax load, is spending money that we won't collect until 2045. Clinton started that in 1995. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Sorcha has a great outline on it. But nobody's talking about deferred debt. Right now, at $8 million a year, times 20 years, we have $160 trillion in deferred debt. We have $30 trillion in external debt, mostly owned by the Federal Reserve System, because everybody's dumping our bonds. And the only way to keep the bond market up is to lower the interest rates, which will make the current bonds in existence worth more. That'll stabilize the bond market rate, but that's coming as Powell is being maybe tried for treason for lying to Congress. And finally, in a hilarious video we're not allowed to publish because obviously we don't want a full-scale exchange of firecrackers. We think 65,000 firecrackers fired at each other, each one blowing up basically the new ones blow up an entire state. So if we launched one and hit one in Seattle from Vancouver, Canada to Vancouver, Washington, or Portland, from the top of Washington State to the bottom of Washington State, all the way out to Yakima, because there's mountains there, will probably be a flat desert plain like the Sahara Desert, which, by the way, is radioactive. So are some plains in Mongolia we studied. Apparently, this planet history is not what it seems. Cliff High was talking about the Smithsonian sponsoring his great uncle dumping bones off the coast of Los Angeles, giant bones, the bones of giants. They've dumped them all to change world history. This is funded by the Smithsonian. Our government is here to lie, cheat, steal, and murder. The smaller it gets, the less it can lie, cheat, steal, and murder. But with digital money, they don't have any problem funding anything. Finally, Trump put out a video, a hilarious video, showing him sitting here and Barack Obama sitting there, and the FBI coming in and arresting Barack Obama and jailing him, and him walking around in a jail cell. So they might do something like that, but I don't think he has the guts to do what God says. I don't think the phone's going to ring. I don't think he's going to ask for it. And I think God's going to lower the boom on him. In fact, I got that a week ago, and I've been too afraid to say it on YouTube. So they're going to be looking over here, Tulsi Gabbard and military intelligence after 10 years. Duh! Finally figured it out. It's funny, my brother was in intelligence for 40 years. We were on the phone, he says, how do you know all this stuff? I said, I listen to Art Bell. Anyway, military intelligence, open source, they don't have it. Their military intelligence is so far behind. It's so far behind. Hegseth finally said, we're going to make drones. Well, duh. How long did it take you to figure that out? How long have you been there? 3 months? These people at the top are 3 bricks shy of a full load, which means they're making you look over here while they're doing something over here. Anyway, God bless. Thank you very much. Tomorrow we may discuss something about the Lucifer Trust, which once again, said again, we're going to have everybody dead in 2025. They said they were going to kill us by 2025. In 2019, they said they're going to kill us in a full-fledged nuclear exchange between the 21st and 23rd of December, which we'll all celebrate in one big grand celebration as the firecrackers fly into our cities and kill us. Because our souls will be free from our body. And then we'll be free from the desires of planet Earth. Really? So anyway, maybe more on that tomorrow. Maybe something else will break on this. The shady bunch. The shady bunch. So that's kind of a fun story. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were entertained by it. The Democrats are quaking because this attack on Trump was an attack for survival because they're all guilty. And I can lead you to 100 human ritualistic Satanists right now. I can take you to their homes. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They'd never get prosecuted anyway for worshiping Lucifer, so what does it matter? As long as I'm good with the IRS and do what God asked me to do, I'm clean and free. God bless. Thank you very much. And we'll see you tomorrow. Because in the end, it's just you and God.